guys, it's Stars Moon Tarot, and I'm finally back after having my little hiatus or being gone for almost like a month. And I felt like you guys needed an explanation. So, if you've been following up on my Instagram, you guys know that I have been in the process of moving. Literally, like it has started, like it has been from the middle of March up till now, but I think it actually went before that because the end of February I went to North Dakota. I live in at the time I lived in South Dakota. So I went to North Dakota for a different job, got an interview, and literally after that interview they gave me a job. So then from that point on, I went back to South Dakota, finished up my 2 weeks notice, and just started like packing like crazy. And while I was still finishing up that job, I went back up to North Dakota to look at apartments on my days off, found an apartment, and then I had to like wait to get hear something back from that. And then after that, came back to South Dakota to like finish up my 2 weeks. And then literally after I finished my 2 weeks, it was I got approved for an apartment and then started my new job. And then in between starting that new job, I still had to go back to South Dakota to like finish packing. And it was a lot of like back and forth. I barely had time off to like do this. So Stars and Moon Tarot definitely was neglected. I didn't have the time to do it. And it took time to like come up with the videos, to actually record them, to post them, because I do it off of my phone. And then loading it up onto YouTube, it takes about like 2 to 3 hours. So now that I have like a full-time job as well, it ends up like eating into my battery life while I'm at work. So I'm not really able to do that. And because I've been going through so many changes, I feel like I have to change up Stars and Moon Tarot a little bit. And I'm not going to be posting like the daily readings because again, it just takes time and energy to do that. And I'm going to be at work. So I think I'm going to stick to like doing weekly readings instead. That seems to be a little bit more flexible. And I'm gonna see how that goes. Like I said, going through changes. I feel like Stars and Moon Tarot like has to go through some changes as well. And that's going to be one of them. Anyways, though, I'm glad I am back to doing this because again, I love doing tarot readings. This one was gonna be more of like an oracle card reading though. And let me tell you, I have gotten new oracle cards, so pretty excited about that. And yeah, I think that's about it. Anyways, let me get into the reading. So the first card that we have is Here and Now. Okay, and as always, like, I look at the cards first just because I get like a rough, I don't want to say image, but I get like a rough reading on what all the cards mean. And then I let it sit for a little bit, and then I come back to it with a more like profound understanding, I guess you can say, or like it just gives me that time to come up with more explanations. So like the first time that I saw this, it was like this week I feel like it's going to be more reflection time for you. Like you're going to be, or no, yeah, I feel like this week is going to be more of a reflection time for you. Like you're either going to be focusing like on the past quite a bit, or you're focusing too much on the future, or this could be something that you have been doing recently and you're not exactly like living in the here and now. Like it's hard for you to like keep up with the tasks that happened today because you're too much like you focus too much on like a past mistake that you've made, or you're thinking like too much about the future that you don't really get to see like the golden opportunity that's in the here and now. Because like this is an egg. I don't know if you guys have like heard of the phrase of like the golden opportunity, or like the golden egg. There we go. And I can't remember if it was Rumi or Buddha or which great teacher said it, but like the present is a gift. You know, and I feel like that's what we have to live for. That's what we enjoy life for as well. Excuse me, my voice has also been really scratchy, so if I break in and out, that's why. Yeah, but I feel like there's something that's kind of like making you feel stuck. Like you're either focused, like you're too fearful of the future, like what that's going to hold, and you're too like focused on things that you have done in the past. So I feel like this week is kind of more unlocking what you can do so you can be more present and focus on the things that you want to do and go forward. There we go. And this is the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. First time I saw these cards, I was a little bit skeptical about them, just because like the backs of them, I was like, okay, I don't know. And then like some of the images, but since I've been looking at other tarot readers use them, it makes a little bit more sense, and I love them. So that's that deck. And then this one is Angel Therapy Oracle Cards by Doreen Virtue. There we go. Then we have Emotional Sensitivity and Be Willing to Forgive. Yeah, so the Be Willing to Forgive, this one definitely made me think of, like, in the past, like, this, yeah, like, in the past, like, either somebody did you wrong, or maybe you betrayed yourself by not doing something that you really loved, and you're focusing, like, too much on the past. Because being willing to forgive, ask the angels to clear your mind and body of past pain in exchange for peacefulness. And then the emotional sensitivity right next to it. I feel like, well, let me read the card first. Okay, honor and respect your deep sensitivity as it is a gift to us all. So yeah, I feel like this week you're also becoming like more aware of how in touch with your emotions you are, but also like your own emotional sensitivity, because maybe in the past people have accused you of being like too emotional, like reacting to things too emotional and like not being logical about it. But I feel like this week you're going to see like how that's a strength. And in the book it says, it not only says, you know, maybe people like looked at you as like being too emotional, but there are positives to it, because like you can detect people's motivations, like you can see their true colors like well before anybody else can. You can see what they are thinking, like what they are feeling, but also because like you take on what other people are feeling, I feel like it's easy to like manipulate you. It's easy to tell you like a sob story and you're just gonna believe it. And people like also sense that about you, so they see it like easy to like tweak and manipulate you. And I feel like this week you're gonna be more alert to like other people's manipulations as well, and like maybe things that you have told yourself as well, like limiting beliefs. So I feel like this week, yeah, again, is just more of like reflection and then releasing like those negative things. And also like as I had time to percolate this, maybe you won't come to like this epiphany, because not every week is going to be like some emotional epiphany. Not every week is going to be like earth-shattering, earth-breaking. It could just manifest as like maybe this week is going to be super stressful for you. Like it could be somebody is going to say something and it's going to make you very emotional. It could make you think of like a past experience. And it could also be like maybe you say something to someone and it got twisted into something else from its true meaning. Like maybe you meant to give like honest feedback or honest advice to somebody, but they took it the wrong way and then they kind of like tweaked it. Or, you know, like you could have said something, it upset somebody. I feel like you need to forgive yourself or be patient with somebody else as well. Like whether it's a work setting, whether it's at home. Yeah, because like I said, not every week is going to be like earth-shattering. Not every week is going to be some major epiphany. It could just manifest as like little things here and there as well. Alrighty, and then we have Soul Messages by John Pollock. We have A Child's Love, Soul Solitude, and Let Go. Okay, so when I saw Child's Love, the first time that I saw this, it made me think of like, you're definitely thinking of like a past experience, and it could be something like all the way back from childhood, like the way that you were raised, how you were brought up. It could just be you were brought up with limiting beliefs as a child, and like as you got older, it just really affected you because maybe you grew up in a household that didn't really respect emotions, or you felt like your emotions weren't respected. It could be that as you got older, you didn't really respect your own sensitivity and you let people walk all over you. But anyways, let me read what the card says. Love between a parent and child is one of the most precious and deep connections we make during the time on earth. Children start out as a part of us and from their first cries, they establish themselves as the biggest part of our hearts. And I also saw a child's love as, you know, like as we get older, we have like more restrictions, or we have like a more mature view of the world, but it could also be like a more cynical view of the world, versus like when you're a child, you don't have as many inhibitions, you don't have as many barriers, you just let things go, not really understanding like why you feel the things that you do, you just experience them. Or here's another way of saying it, like things that upset children, you know, like they could be throwing a temper tantrum, things that just make them upset. It doesn't make sense to adults, but for them, it's like very real. You know, like they could be wanting that toy like at the toy store or something, and for you, you're just like, no, you don't need it or whatever. They'll probably break down crying because they want that. They see that as something that they need or whatever, but you're just like, I don't see the point of it. They're gonna grow out of it in like a couple of years, so like what's the point in getting that for them? But for them, it's like something very real, like they need it. That's kind of like a smaller way to illustrate the issue, but it could be something bigger, like maybe for them, they're like scared of the dark, and like for adults, you know, like we know that like there's no monsters like in the dark or whatever, but for children, it's just like that's a real issue or whatever. And the way that like their parents reacted to that, that could have been like how it shaped them as well. So that's where I see like child's love, like emotional sensitivity as well, like something in the past could have been all the way from that. And then soul solitude, I see this as reflection, and then let go. And I think it's interesting that child's love and let go are kind of the same colors. Like this one is an orange, this one could be like a darker orange or like a red. They actually almost look the same, but this one is a little bit darker. So I think that one has significance as well. That's why I say it could be a past, like all the way from childhood. Otherwise, if you do have children, it could be like maybe you have to pay a little bit more attention to them, like maybe read between the lines a little bit more, like on what they need. It could also be like you just need to experience your emotions or look at things from a different perspective as well. It just makes me think like honoring your emotions, like that's coming out right now. I didn't really get that like initial time that I looked at this. Yeah, like honoring your feelings as they are, even if they are negative feelings, just like let it out. Like who cares like what everybody else says? You gotta take care of yourself too. And then the last one, Whispers of Love. So this deck I have seen in a lot of soulmate readings or like love readings, but on the deck, like on the back of the deck, it says ways for you to attract more love into your life. And I feel like whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, you can always attract more love into your life. So this doesn't have to have a romantic connotation like this reading that I'm doing. It can for you, some of you. So if it does, take it. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Forgiveness. Nothing is gained by holding on to past disappointments. Look to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. Physical touch. A tender touch can mean so much. And then the last one, slow down. Pause and allow things to unfold. Okay, so I'm just going to throw this right off the bat. The first time that I saw physical touch, this does not mean having sex or like making out with your partner. If you are in a relationship or you're dating, that's not what this means. I see this more as like taking care of yourself physically, like if you're not getting enough sleep, if you have been eating junk food too much, or if you've been running yourself ragged. I feel like this is just taking care of yourself. So whether you want to indulge in like a bubble bath, whether you want to go out and eat maybe once or hang out with friends, that's what I see physical touch as. Because maybe it's just like you're getting overwhelmed with tasks at work, that you're not exactly like able to do things that just kind of like relax relax you and make you more present. So that's what I see with physical touch. And then look to your inner strength. I see this as looking back on like gaining a different perspective about the situation, because like when you're focused too much on the past, like when you're too regretful, I see that as like being really negative about something. But I feel like this week you're kind of called to transform that, to like empower yourself. And I also see this like look to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. I feel like that goes hand in hand with emotional sensitivity as well, because again, like maybe in the past people called you like too emotional because you reacted to things like very deeply, and they're just like, oh, she's just spazzing because she's really emotional. But again, like that's considered a strength because you realize like other people's intentions well before anybody else catches on to it. You can see like their true colors well before anybody else can. I can see this also as like you're very intuitive, and I feel like this week you should get more in touch with that. Like even it could be, you know, this week that somebody triggers you. It could be that you need to stand your ground about something and realize that that's a strength. You know, not everybody can feel and see things the way that you do, and you should look at that as something unique and something precious instead of degrading that. And again, like forgiveness comes up. So I definitely see that as like confirmation, like forgiving yourself and also being like gentle with yourself and others, because we all have things that we're going through, and whatever somebody did to hurt you, they were going through something. And also I see 11 quite a bit, because this one is 29, and if you add the 2 and the 9, that makes 11. There's 11 right there, and then 4 plus 7 is 11. So maybe 11 has some sort of significance for you. Maybe this week maybe this week will be like an earth-shattering thing, because like if it's 11, that's considered like a twin flame soulmate number. I think it's also an angel number too. So it could be like, yeah, maybe you are going to get like some sort of divine revelation this week. Maybe you won't. But if that holds some sort of resemblance, or if it resonates with you, let me know. And then the slow down card. Yeah, like I said, if you're focusing like too much on the future, you're not really enjoying like the present moment, like the here and now. It could be like maybe you're focusing like extra hard on your goals, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, but you're kind of forgetting like the value that the present moment has right now. Because if you're focused like too much on the past, you don't really get to see like what's in front of you right now. And if you're focused too much on the future, like you don't get to enjoy like the things that are happening now, because like the things that you're doing now is like what is setting you up for the future, you know. So you could be theorizing like, oh yeah, if I do this, if I do that, but not really like living it out. So yeah, I feel like this week is more of like taking care of yourself, realigning yourself to bring more balance into your life, giving yourself a break, treating yourself. Yeah, pause and allow things to unfold. So yeah, that's what I see with this weekly reading. If you guys liked it, definitely hit the like button down below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to get more weekly readings. And then again, I also have an Instagram page at Stars and Moon Tarot, where I'm going to be posting like weekly readings like this, and I'm not sure where I'm going to go in that direction yet. Like if I'm going to, you know, maybe do positive affirmations again or inspirational quotes, because even like when I worked at my other job, it did take some time like coming up with the positive affirmations and inspirational quotes. But maybe I'll do that like throughout the week, like maybe once a day or something. We'll see what happens. But yeah, until then, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.